Medical students typically get most of their education in a classroom, but the USC School of Medicine in Greenville has joined forces with the health system there to expose students to real-life situations.
Hey, police! Hey, police! Step away from him! Step away! Move! This is a capstone event that culminates the end of our medical students taking an EMT certification course. We're one of the few schools in the country that actually does that. I believe we're the only school in the country that puts on an exercise of this magnitude. And it's basically to teach the students what they've learned up here to get it down to their hands. So we can teach all day in a classroom, but to actually put it into motion and work with our interprofessionals of our law enforcement, fire, and EMS folks, put it into a real perspective.
I have students in there.
I was under the jurisdiction of other people who were coordinating all sorts of transportation and things like that. So I was basically, designated to certain places, and I respond in that area. So I went all over the place dealing with treatment and carrying and transporting, just wherever I was needed to help control the crowd. This helps me by just being able to know that I can respond in a situation where something happens. As a first-year medical student, we are equipped with knowledge, but here we're really equipped with skills. So if we're in the community, we can respond, and we just have a more even head over dealing with all of this.
Get her out! We had two scenarios going on. One was a motor vehicle crash, because we see that every day, and we see the complicated crashes less frequently, fortunately for all of us. But when patients are trapped in vehicles, it brings up a new set of circumstances. You have unstable vehicles, you have fluids leaking, you have people that are in harm's way, that are trapped in metal and plastic and glass. And so we're teaching our students with our firefighters and medics how to extricate, how to get those people out safely and get them out quickly so we can transfer them to definitive care to the hospital. Our second scenario was an active shooter, and we say our prayers every night hoping that we're not going to have an incident like that on our campus. But unfortunately, in today's society, with Columbine and Virginia Tech and Sandy Hook, these incidents happen. And so we want to better prepare our students and our law enforcement officials to simulate, at least, to go in and see what it takes to clear a building, to take care of patients, mass casualties. We had 170 victims in this active shooter scenario. And so we had active classrooms all over this building with a shooter running through the building and hurting a lot of people. And so it really made it realistic. And so our law enforcement officers are better prepared than they were yesterday, and our future physicians are better prepared also.
Well, anytime you have a mass casualty incident, they're rare in and of themselves. So to have an exercise like this, it gives us an opportunity to work together, whether it be utilizing comms or just the integration of multiple agencies working together. The ultimate goal is the protection of life and property. So when you have multiple casualties, multiple injuries, you have to assess the threat of the injuries and figure out who needs what sort of trauma and disperse those through medical facilities to get them the treatment that they need.
This is the first time that our medical students actually get to work with all these different agencies, and so they understand their roles and responsibilities, and the law enforcement and firefighters and medics, they understand what the physicians do. So it's a good symbiotic relationship, if you will.
Patients? Well, of course you have the people who are in shock who don't speak, and then you also have the people who are screaming at you and running at you saying, hey, help my friend, and you're like, I have all these people in this building right now that I have to try and get out. So if you can walk, you need to go outside to safety and we'll get your friend, don't worry, and just trying to remain calm and make sure that the patient comes first, and if you can get the people out of there as quick as possible, that's what we're supposed to do.
My role was to be a victim in an active shooter simulation inside the medical school itself. If there were ever a mass casualty incident, it shows you what kind of injuries are that need to be handled immediately, which ones can wait, and sort of how to manage a large group of people with a lot of injuries.
You're okay? What about my friends? You need to go outside. All right, we've got people inside taking care of them, okay?
I was a victim in the mass casualty event that we had today. I obviously got shot in the head, and the students were to come in and rescue me. I definitely learned how important it is to be real and to actually address and not just go through the motions. Doing this last year and going through the checklists of exactly what you would do is very different when you're actually in the situation. And it's cool to see it from the perspective of the EMT where I was last year, and then from the perspective of the victim. So I definitely learned a lot of how I could better help others if a situation like this would arise.
September 11th, 14 years ago, the attack on America was horrible for this country, and the fact that this drill just fell on that date is fortunate and unfortunate. It's unfortunate because it was 9/11, and we'll always remember. Everybody knows where they were on 9/11 when that happened in our country. But it's not just 9/11. Any day of the year, of the calendar year, we're going to be thinking about 9/11. But the benefit is we honor those that gave their lives on that day, and we honor them by being better prepared here. By if something were to happen on this campus, we're going to be better prepared to save lives and to mitigate such an incident so that we can protect lives, protect property. Greenville Health, because we're going to receive all these patients eventually along with other hospitals, we're playing an active role with all of our first responder agencies. And so if we can act as a facilitator to bring all this together, it's a home run for everyone.